everyone, it's Ariel and welcome back to my channel. Thank you so much for stopping by and tuning into this video. Today I decided to just sit down and chat with you guys because today is actually my last day being 25. A little candle. You can barely even tell that's lit, can you? Well, you guys saw I lit it. Some water here, stay hydrated. So yes, tomorrow is my birthday, my 26th birthday, March 29th. Today is March 28th, which means it's the last day that I will ever be 25. I feel like every time my birthday comes around, like every year, I start just like reflecting and like kind of just looking at my life overall, like where it's at, and just kind of almost like checking in with myself. If that makes sense. I feel like I can't be the only one. Let me know if you do this too. But yeah, I feel like it's normal to just kind of like reflect back on the last year and kind of just your life as a whole and kind of just like think about where it's going and if you're happy with where it's going, what you've achieved, what you haven't achieved, those types of things. So being that today is the last day I will ever be 25, I thought I would just share my thoughts with you guys and maybe just kind of like talk about my 20s like as a whole. I feel like your 20s is like a wild time and I'm only 26, so like I don't know, I still have, you know, some time left to really see how it is, but I feel like I'm halfway now and I'm also closer to 30. Well, tomorrow, let's not get ahead of ourselves here. Closer to 30 than I am to 20, which is like, when I realized that I was like, oh my goodness, that's scary. But yeah, I've been in my 20s for a while, more than halfway through my 20s now, and it's just been crazy. Like probably the craziest time in my life so far has been like in my 20s. But I do feel like now that I'm getting a little bit closer to like the end of the 20s, I can feel myself like maturing and kind of like settling more into like who I am, feeling kind of more like comfortable with myself and where my life's at and what I'm doing with my life and stuff. So I definitely can feel that I'm just kind of like settling and more mature in myself. So that's a good feeling. I know that when I turned 20, that was a big deal for me. And I would say 20 to 22 or maybe 23 was probably like the hardest time in my life that I like remember, at least that I remember like really well, because I was old enough, you know, I was like living on my own and doing my own stuff. When you're 20, you have a pretty good idea of what's going on and like what you're putting yourself through and just like kind of your surroundings in general. So yeah, I do know that 20 to 22 was like a really hard time for me. And then I think 23 or 4 to where I am now has been just like growing through that hard time and like kind of, like I said, just kind of like settling into myself, kind of realizing like who I am and what I want in life and stuff like that, and just kind of maturing a little bit, you know, settling down, even though I was never really like a crazy, like wild, outgoing person, but yeah, it's been a shift for sure. And I feel like 25 is the big age. Like that's like the age that everyone wants to stay at. It's the age where everyone thinks they're gonna like be married and have kids and like have their career like completely figured out, you know, just have everything like perfect and figured out. And now that I'm past that, almost, it's not really like that. I mean, that doesn't mean I'm not happy with my life. I definitely am, like where my life is at right now. It's just very different from what I imagined it would be before. Like when I would think about it, I remember when I was like 16, I remember thinking like, yeah, when I'm 25, you know, I'll probably be married and like have a couple kids. Like that just seemed like a good, like, you know, adult age to like have kids, you know, just have everything figured out. And it's just kind of interesting how like my perspective has changed and my goals have changed. I've kind of realized that there's a lot more I want at this stage in my life than just being married and having kids. So that's been like a huge realization, I guess, because yeah, when you're 16, you definitely think differently because that was 10 years ago. So definitely had different thoughts then than I do now. But yeah, it's just kind of interesting to like look back and just compare my life now to what I thought it would be at this time, like 10 years ago. Another thing that I've always thought is interesting about your 20s is that I think it's different for everybody, but it's not until you're in your 20s, like decently into your 20s, that your brain is even fully developed. Like I think for can't remember the exact numbers, so I don't want to say anything wrong, but I think it's around 25 when your brain is actually like fully developed. I think it might be earlier for women, but I'm not sure. Look it up. I remember learning that a while ago, actually, like a few years ago probably, and I remember like being so aware of that. Just feeling like, okay, is my brain developed now? Like, do I still have more time to like grow and like get better than I am now? Like, I don't want my brain to be fully developed. So that, yeah, I always thought that was interesting. But I feel like every year, at least since, I don't know, I feel like I want to say like 24 to 25, that was when I like really started to shift my mindset, and like I really noticed a difference in just the way that I think and kind of my perspective on a lot of things. And I feel like from 25 to 26 now, I feel like it's just like way higher than I even thought it was. Like I feel like now is when I'm like starting to like I said, settle in, mature. Like I know who I am, I know what I'm doing, I know, you know, like where, just what I want in life. Whereas before I felt very like, you know, scatterbrained, which I still feel like sometimes. But I think something that kind of like kickstarted that when I turned 24, because I remember like writing some notes down about how when I was 24, like about how I just felt like I was growing so much and I like learned so much that year. And I feel like I did, because that was the year I decided to quit hairstyling and try something completely new. And I kind of like dug into some past like trauma and negative things in my life that have really affected me, and I didn't really realize it until that year. So I feel like that's what really started it, and I was able to really like dive into it head first and kind of work my way through it. And I feel like now is when I'm finally like coming out of that. And so that's what's allowed me to like feel a lot more comfortable in myself, or with myself. And yeah, it's a pretty cool feeling. But like I said, I'm not 30 yet, so I still have some time to work through the rest of my 20s. But I do feel like I can feel that I'm past the mid mark, if that makes sense. I think basically what I'm saying is I feel my age, I guess. I think another big thing about this age that I'm at now, or this kind of like life stage, I guess, is that I'm very aware of my habits, because I now know that habits, your everyday habits, like things you do consistently every single day, really make a difference when you look at the grand scheme of things, like how you're living your life, how productive you can be, how much you get done, how just how much you can live in the moment, how aware of things you are. Everything you do has an outcome, obviously, but or a consequence, even though that sounds kind of negative. But I just noticed that lately, like especially this last year, I really have been trying to develop healthy habits, because I know how important that is now, whereas before I never really even like paid attention to it. Like I would start things and then it's almost like I would do them just because I thought that that's what I was supposed to do, but I didn't know why I was doing it, so I never followed through. Whereas now I understand the importance of building healthy habits and just doing things with intention. That's something that I have really learned in the past year or two. Doing things intentionally, not just doing things you think you should do or that you think you're supposed to do. Doing things you think people at your age should be doing. Like, you just have to do things intentionally and just be aware of what outcome you're expecting by doing certain things, or doing everything you do, basically. Yeah. I can't really think of like anything else. Any other thoughts I have? Honestly, I feel like 26, even though it kind of is a big age, because you're kind of like past the hump, you know, past that middle stage and getting closer to that big scary 30. But I feel like 25 was a bigger one for me, just because that's like the age, you know, like 25, that's the age. And I've heard so many people who are older than me say that that's the age they wish they could always stay. I remember somebody specifically saying it that way, and it stuck with me. I was like, oh no. So yeah, for me personally, 25 always seemed to be like the big age. And I think there is a lot of pressure to just have things figured out, or like, yeah, just have things figured out in your 20s. And I really think your 20s are about figuring out what you want in life and just who you are as a person. Because like when you turn 18, sometimes you move out, sometimes not, but that's when you start like going to college, university, really starting to like build your own life, like outside of, you know, your family. And I think we throw ourselves into that whole like, you know, education, getting a good job, getting married, having kids, like all these things that are almost like milestones, like we have to do, you know, this, like we only have so much time to do those things. And I really feel like it's not like that. Like I really think that in your 20s, you should figure out who you are, what you want, what you're doing, what you're passionate about, just kind of really like envisioning and creating the life that you want, not just like going into whatever your parents think you should do or your friends are doing or what other 25-year-olds are doing or 20-year-olds, whatever it is. Because I think when we do that, it's just a disservice to ourselves and other people too, because I think we would all be better off if we were all authentically ourselves, not trying to be what we thought we should be, if that makes sense. Just doing things that we want to do and that we love and that fuel us and keep us motivated to keep going. So yeah, did I get too deep? I don't know. But yes, overall, I do feel my age. Like I feel a little bit older than 25. I feel like kind of, you know, closer to 30, even though I don't like how it sounds, but I remember feeling a lot more anxiety kind of when I turned 25 compared to now. It's just kind of an age, like, I don't know. Maybe when I turn 30, I'll think differently, but we'll see. But yeah, 20s have been crazy so far. I feel like I've just learned so much about who I am as a person and what I want out of life. And I'm definitely happy with where I'm at right now. That's something else I've learned, is that you have to always just live in the moment and be happy with what you have right now, because you can really stress yourself out if you're always worrying about the future or the past. And it really only distracts you from reaching your goals and actually living. So living in the moment, enjoying where I am, and I'm definitely excited for the next few years of my life, like from 26 to 30. I think it's going to be really fun, really exciting. And I know I still have a lot of growth to do, a lot of learning to do. There's always more learning to do, in my opinion. And there's always room for growth too. So I think some things I want to work on are building habits more strongly. Like I think I'm just like starting to get the hang of that, but more focus could be put on that for sure. And I think having more confidence in myself, that's something I've always struggled with, honestly, is just believing I can do certain things. So hopefully these next few years, I'll be able to finally, like, you know, hammer down on that and be really confident. I've come such a long way already, so I'm definitely proud of where I am now, because it took a lot of work to get here. So proud of where I am now, but definitely excited for where I'm going as well. So those are kind of my thoughts for 26. Yeah, 25. It's been a good year, I would say. And yeah, just looking forward to another year of learning and growing and just bettering myself and settling more into who I am and what I do. So yeah. But this was kind of fun, just like expressing my thoughts. I wonder if I should do this every year. That might be a fun thing to do. Every birthday I do like a little spill, like just say what I'm thinking, and kind of like review my year. Let me know if you guys would like that. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end the video here. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, just this little like kind of personal chit chat. I really enjoy like just being genuine and like just chatting with you guys. So I hope you guys enjoy these videos as much as I do. And I hope you want to see more, because I would love to film more. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the video. Leave a comment down below. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to give it a thumbs up and subscribe as well if you're not already. And you can hit the little notification bell to get notified every time I post so you don't miss any new videos. You can also follow me on social media at StyledByAriel on Instagram, as well as most other platforms. And my blog is styledbyariel.com if you want to check that out as well. But that is it for today. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.